We're here with Jake Ruger from Much Yu-Gi-Oh! With another deck profile here for you. What are you playing today, Jake?
I'm doing a little chain burn. Alright, so there's three main components of the chain burn deck. The burn portion, the draw portion, and the protection portion. I'll start off with the burn portion. The reason the deck is called chain burn is because of this card, Chain Strike. It's a 400 damage times the chain link. So say it's a chain link 3, you do 1200. And the way chain links work is, to make this a chain link 3, you just have to activate 2 cards, or your opponent can add to the chain as well. You just have to activate 2 cards before you activate this card, you or your opponent. So you can obviously say your opponent starts making some really dirty plays, like they start chaining off, or like say you start chaining and then they add to the chain, this just keeps gaining and gaining. This can do upwards of 3,000 damage if your opponent starts adding to the chain. If this is a chain link 5, it's doing 2,000, which is still a fourth of their life points. Moving to the next big burn card, we got 3 copies of Secret Barrel. This is 200 per card your opponent controls on field and in hand. So that'll traditionally be at least 1,200. They'll control 6, something of that nature. But if it's late game, it's going to be, they're going to have a field. You don't have any removal in this deck, so it's going to have a lot of it's just a big burn card. Ceasefire. Ceasefire is it reads, you flip them all up, you flip up all monsters, and then you inflict 500 per effect monster on the field. It's limited. That's why it's a pretty good card, and you know, it's for both sides of the field. So say you have your Battle Fader out, you can do 500 for that as well, which is really good. Next big burn card is Just Desserts. That's 500 per monster your opponent controls, and you can get big burn going easily with this and Ojama Trio, which you play 2 copies of, because you give them 3 tokens, and then you play Just Desserts. Well, it's in the reverse order. You have to play Just Desserts, then Ojama Trio, because chains resolve backwards. So you got to play Just Desserts as like your first. Say you just have these 2 cards set, you got to play Just Desserts, then Ojama Trio. That's how you got to do it, or else it won't resolve correctly. And Ojama Trio, on a second note, is a very good card because it clogs their field, and a lot of decks in this format are making spammy Exceeds plays, and they can't really do that if you're just taking out 3 zones. Next card. It's 3 copies of Dimension Wall. Very good card. Better than Magic Cylinder for a very obvious reason that not a lot of people know about. This card is a player effect. They cannot lance through this. They can't get through it. This is a player effect. They attack your life points. You're never going to have a monster out when you activate this card because that's just stupid. You're never going to have a monster out. So having Dimension Wall here is really good because they're going to attack your life points, and they're going to take any damage you would have taken for that battle. So it's just a big burn card and very hard to get around. Speaking of another conditional attack burn card is Magic Cylinder. This card is easy to get around. It's more easy than Dimension Wall because it does affect monsters on the field. They can lance through it. They can do whatever. It's still a good burn card because they don't always have cards that can get through stuff like that, but it's still very good burn. Alright, so now moving to the monster portion of the chain burn deck. We got 2 copies of Lava Golem. Lava Golem is really good because when I said we didn't have removal before, I guess I was lying because you do play Lava Golem. He tributes 2 monsters on their side of the field, which is really good because there are problem monsters you need to get rid of. Say like a Jinzo that negates all trap cards. You lose if the Jinzo's on the board. You just don't win because you can't activate your big burn cards. And then he inflicts 1,000 damage for each standby phase. That's really good, obviously, because that basically, if he sits on your opponent's field for 8 turns at most, they've lost because there's just no way. They've lost. Okay, and now I play 1 copy of Metallion the Time Lord. This guy's crazy. He gets off some really good plays because basically you normal summon him if you control no monsters and your opponent controls monsters. Normal summon, not special. He's really good because when he attacks into your opponent's monster, you take no battle damage, he can't be destroyed, he's not affected, and it bounces all their cards back. Really good removal because there's going to be Exceeds out and stuff like that. He's really good. And then he burns them for 300 for each card returned, up to 15. So 300 to 1,500 damage for him. And then he sits on your board until your next standby phase, where he's then shuffled into your deck. Not destroyed, shuffled into your deck. Very good burn card. Probably, if there was to be a boss monster of the deck, it's Metallion the Time Lord. Alright, so now we're moving to the draw portion of the deck. I play 2 copies of Cumulative Fortune. A lot of people like to play 3. But I like 2 because this card can be dead so many times. Sometimes it's very difficult to make Chain Link 4s. And the card's effect reads, as a Chain Link 4, you can draw 2 cards. If this card's a Chain Link 4, you can draw 2 cards. And that's sometimes very hard to make because it's just Chain Link 4s aren't easy to make. It's just that simple. I mean, you can draw 2. It's still it's a draw 2, which is good, and there also can't be multiple cards of the same name in that chain, which kind of can be a problem because you do play triple of a lot of cards. Speaking of triple, we're talking about triple Reckless Greed. Playing triple Reckless Greed is really the only way you can play Reckless Greed because hopefully you draw more than 1 in your hand, and then you can draw 4 and only have to skip 2, or draw 6 and only have to skip 2. Good draw card. Thins out the deck. Speaking of thinning out the deck, we got triple Jar Greed. Jar Greed, very good card, thins out your deck by 1. Very good chain material as well for your Chain Strike and your Cumulative Fortune. 2 copies of Legacy of Yatagarasu. I'd play 3, but I have a monster card that allows me to draw as well, Card D. But I like it at 2 because it's a good chain material and you get to thin your deck out by 1. Next, we got triple Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality is beyond crucial in this deck because you go top 3 cards of your deck, you look at them, and then you look at your hand and you say, what's going to allow me to get what's going to even my hand out? Because you want to have an even number of burn and draw in your hand, not just all burn, not all draw. It allows you really even out your chains and really allow you to keep consistent plays going. And there's one more card left in the draw portion of the deck, and that's Card D. Card D, good card, normal summon it, tribute it your end phase, tribute it your main phase, end your turn, and draw 2. Very good card. I only like to play one of them because you don't get to use the cards that you draw during the turn. Alright, so now moving into the small portion of the deck, which is the protection. Triple Swift Scarecrow, hand trap. Not a lot of people know you can chain off Swift Scarecrow. You don't have to play Threatening Roar and Waboku to chain. You can chain off Swift Scarecrow. You can't chain like your Magic Cylinder because that's going to be a conflicting effect. This is going to end the battle phase. Magic Cylinder is going to negate. It's just, it doesn't work, but still, very good protection, great hand trap. Speaking of great hand trap, we're going right into the Triple Battle Fader. Right here, very good hand trap, stops the battle phase, good protection. Now we're going to set up a short example to show you how this deck works. This is a short example of how Chain Burn works against common monsters and common decks. So let's start off here. Our starting hand, ooh, this looks really good. We got our draw power, burn, clog, burn. Looks very good. Let's draw for turn. Ooh, got even better. All right. So we're going to set 5 of our back row. We're going to set all 5 of those back rows. There's the 5 set back row. And then we're going to obviously summon our Card D, tribute him. That ends our turn. We're going to +2. All right. So now, it's our opponent's turn. What are they going to do? They're going to summon a monster.
Bow!
Ooh, it's Shiba Warrior Taro. Man, that's a little too strong to handle. So they're going to enter battle phase here, and let's say they attack. All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is activate your Just Desserts. Why are you activating Just Desserts? They only have 1 monster out. I know. But then you go Ojama Trio. So the way this is going to work when the chain is over is they're going to summon 3 tokens and you're going to get that 2,000 burn. Next, you're going to want to go Dimension Wall. Dimension Wall, that's going to stop that 800 attack and have it, well, not stop it, it's going to let it go through, but your opponent's going to take the damage. Then you go Accumulative Fortune. Chain Link 4, we have met the condition, so we draw 2. And to end the chain, we'll play Chain Strike. That'll put just a whole bunch of burn on the table. So resolving backwards, Chain Strike, Chain Link 5, 2,000 damage. We're drawing 2. Dimension Wall, he's going to take the 800 attack from Shiba. So we're at 28 burn. We're going to summon the 3 tokens. And then we're going to burn them for 2,000 more. So first turn, you've already put 48 damage out on the board, and let me tell you, Shiba's not that strong, so you're probably going to be doing more. That may be the perfect hand, but it's still very good. Thank you for watching.